Another tough loss for ASU. They fall to CU 27-24. I'm Marley Zana Thompson alongside Jordan Ham. Jordan, there was a lot of penalties in this game that had a big factor into probably why they lost this a little bit. What are your thoughts behind that?
Yeah, Kenny Dillingham mentioned that they had more personal fouls tonight than they had the entire season combined, and that Colorado was a team that could kind of draw those penalties out of you. Despite that, honestly, the penalties were pretty even between Colorado and Arizona State. But Kenny has been able to brand this team as a pretty well-disciplined team. And we didn't quite see that tonight, and it extended some drives. In one case, Ed Woods was ejected from the game because of targeting. So obviously that's always going to have a big impact. I don't think any college coach is going to be happy until that number is 0. But yeah, that definitely played a factor in tonight.
So if we take a look at how this team looked for the first game versus where they are now, big improvements. It's so awesome to see. Dillingham was talking about how they're almost there, but they haven't quite found that one thing that's going to, make them click. But when they do click, they're going to be on fire. So what's the biggest growth that you have seen from this team versus game one to where they are now?
I think that both offensively and defensively, this is probably the closest to what Kenny envisioned at the beginning of the year. They were able to move the ball. Trent Bourget threw for over 300 yards. They want to get in the end zone more, obviously, but they were able to move the ball. They were able to spread the ball to a lot of different receivers. The defense was getting a lot of pressure. When we came into the season, we heard Brian Ward and the chaos he creates. I feel like there was a lot of chaos, a lot of sacks. Not quite the turnovers yet. They still haven't had an interception yet all year, which is just kind of dumbfounding to me. But it almost feels like bad luck at this point because the defense is playing really well. So the growth is there. And I even asked Kenny about when you're playing winning football but the wins aren't coming, how do you level out that frustration? How do you buy in? And he's like, it's very simple. This group is bought in. If you're not bought in, kind of get out. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't been afraid to pull the trigger on that before the year. So I think having a bye, they can sit on this, but they can also look ahead to the second half of the year. I think the bye is placed very nicely for them. They have a lot of ranked teams that they're going to be playing here in the back half of the year, but now they can get healthy. The offensive line hopefully will get a bit healthy. Some of the key players in the middle of that defense can get healthy. So bye comes at a really good time, in my opinion, for the Sun Devils.
So with the health, everyone's back up to par. Do you think they could win more than just one game this season?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you look at the Pac-12, every year I say, you're going to win one you shouldn't, and you're going to lose one you shouldn't. So last year, ASU was a how many point underdog against Washington, and they were able to beat them. I could see that happening, especially a team that plays really hard like ASU. They don't quit. They've been in a lot of games. Eventually the ball's going to bounce their way. Eventually some turnovers are going to come, and I think then W's can come too. So I definitely think they're going to notch at least one more here in the second half. It is a tough schedule, but the Pac-12's wide open, and I think this record does not reflect the talent that's on this team right now.
It's all about how you respond to situations. They're heading into the bye. They have a lot of things that they could work on and improve on coming into their next game. I am Marley Zana Thompson alongside Jordan Ham. Thank you for joining us.